I'm Ryan Banfield. 1 year after the opening of Hamilton Place Mall, business continues at Chattanooga's two other major malls, Northgate and Eastgate. Today, Northgate Mall has 132 stores, losing only 2 stores in the past year. Northgate officials anticipate losing 15% of their sales because of Hamilton Place, but to date, they say sales are only 6% off, and Northgate merchants say business is good.
It's been pretty much the same as it was the year before. It's followed the same trends, as we were before. So I don't think that Hamilton Place has affected us very much.
We still have people that will not cross the river or do not like to cross the river. They like the slower pace, the things that they're accustomed to.
When Hamilton Place opened 1 year ago, there were 118 stores at Eastgate Mall. Today there are 109 stores, and the mall is working on replacing the Hesse store that recently moved to Hamilton Place. And merchants at Eastgate say a new department store would be good news.
Any place that would bring in the influx of people directly into the mall, they come out and start experiencing the other stores, and that would help.
And retailers from both Eastgate and Northgate malls say the newness of Hamilton Place is wearing off and bringing shoppers back to their malls. Ryan Banfield, News Center 12.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Urbex Dead Mall series and my Tennessee road trip. We're still here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and today we're going to check out the Eastgate Town Center. The architecture in this mall is absolutely beautiful, but can we even call it a mall anymore because there really aren't any stores left? Really, the only thing that's in here are businesses, and by businesses I mean, stuff like insurance companies and law firms. But it is really nice that they still allow the public to come in here and walk around and just marvel at the wonderful architecture that used to be the mall. Independent enterprises from Chattanooga would build their very first shopping center on a 65-acre parcel located 5 miles southeast of the city's scenic downtown area. This was the original site of the Skyway Drive-In Theater that operated between 1941 and 1959. This plot of land was also adjacent to a newly completed section of the Interstate 24 Expressway. The Eastgate Town Center, or Eastgate Center as many would call it, would be designed by Atlanta's Toombs, Amisano, and Wells firm. Ground would be broken on September 29th of 1961, and the first tenant would be a 2-level, 60,000 square foot Chattanooga-based Miller Brothers. It would open its doors on August 13th of 1962. Also that same year, 21 inline stores would be inaugurated on September 20th as part of a mall-wide grand opening. Some of these original stores would include a Cole Rexall Drug, Morrison's Cafeteria, Winn-Dixie Supermarket, and a G.C. Murphy 5 and 10. The grand opening would be attended by the mayor of Chattanooga and other various city and county officials. Between 1964 and 1965, the Miller Brothers store would be expanded into a 100,000 square foot store as part of a second mall construction phase. This second phase would include a Chattanooga-based Loveman store along with a Wilby Kinsey single-screen theater and a JCPenney. The JCPenney would open for business on August 19th of 1965, and a dedication for the expanded mall would be held on August 21st of that same year. By now, the Eastgate Center would comprise of approximately 550,000 square feet, making it Tennessee's largest mall to date. In 1970, independent enterprises would merge with New York City's Arlen Realty and Development Corporation. Their very first fully enclosed complex would be Mississippi's Tupelo Mall. Then, 2 years later, their second roofed retail center would be completed, the Northgate Mall. This mall would be located 7 miles northwest of Eastgate in Chattanooga and would hold its official grand opening in March of 1972. And just while all this other stuff was going on, the Eastgate Center would have a massive fire sweep through the shopping center on January 1st of 1972. This would leave much of the mall heavily damaged, and since other malls around the country were beginning to convert into enclosed shopping centers, they figured they might as well take the opportunity to do the same. It would later be discovered that the source of the fire was expected to be arson. Also, as a part of the mall's restoration, the Loveman store would be expanded into a 67,000 square foot store. The mall's restoration would be completed in late 1972, and the name would be changed to the Eastgate Mall. So now I wanted to take a moment to pause from the mall's history to take a look at this amazing fountain. Do you even call this a fountain? Because it's really a waterfall. But man, I can definitely tell that this isn't original to the mall. It's something that they built in recent years, after the mall basically was demalled and turned into like an office complex type thing. But seriously, this has to be one of the top 5 mall fountains I've ever seen. And just walking through this mall and hearing the waterfall echoing throughout the corridors was quite amazing. If you'd like to experience what it was like walking through this mall and hear the sights and sounds, then you can check out the Raw and Real edition by subscribing to my YouTube membership right here or my Patreon. There's links at the end of the video and in the description box below. Anyway, now back to the mall's history. The following year, in 1973, the Millers Brothers store would be rebranded as a Knoxville-based Millers Incorporated, and the cinema would become a twin-screen venue, only to be converted into a 3-screen cinema in the 1970s. This theater would last until 1993, when it would eventually shut its doors forever. Then the biggest blow to the Eastgate Mall would happen in August of 1987, when the Hamilton Place Super Regional Shopping Mall would open 4 miles away in Chattanooga. This new mall would be built and developed by the very descendants that originally built the Eastgate Town Center or Eastgate Mall, CBL and Associates. This new competition would quickly cause the Eastgate Mall into a downward spiral that they could not recover from. Alright, so another brief pause here from the retail history because I just kind of wanted to point out that right now we're in the food court area of the former mall. And I know it doesn't really resemble a food court anymore. I guess you can kind of, if you like squint really hard, you can kind of see how it used to be a food court. Some of the boarded up, like where the restaurants would have been, the little, food stands. You can kind of see some of those, but it's, mostly just gone now. And it's sad because it'd be cool if this place still had a food court where all the businesses could just come on their lunch break. Anyway, now back to the history of this awesome mall. Basically from the late 80s all the way up until this mall was pretty much demalled, it was literally just one store being rebranded or just closing entirely. 1988 would see the Lovemans rebranded as a Profit store, only to be closed in 1990. The Millers chain was acquired by Allentown, Pennsylvania's based Hess's stores in 1987 and would be rebranded as a Hess store in 1988, only to close down in 1992. Also in 1992, the JCPenney would relocate from the Eastgate Mall to the Hamilton Place Mall. By the mid-1990s, the Eastgate Mall was in a serious downward spiral. Its 3 department stores were sitting idle and the occupancy rate was hovering at around 27%. Okay, so this is the Office Depot that's connected to the mall, and I just wanted to stop for a moment so we could check it out because it's kind of weird looking. Now, of course, you can't get to the Office Depot from within the mall, and maybe at one point you could, but entering this Office Depot, I was kind of disappointed because I was like, oh, it just looks like an ordinary Office Depot. I was hoping that the crazy architecture on the outside would have translated to the inside, but sadly it didn't. Alrighty, and now once again, back to the mall's history. Then in 1997, as the mall was sitting virtually vacant, a new plan would be put forth to repurpose the mall as a mixed-use town center. $30 million would be invested into a renovation of the retail space, and it would be reconfigured into office suites. The JCPenney and the Miller Brothers store would be refaced with brick and mortar, and the old-timey Main Street facades would be removed. The vacant cinema would become a YMCA, and a small food court would be created. This would all be the beginning of the transformation from the Eastgate Mall to what you see today, the Eastgate office complex. There was a more radical plan to cut a street right through the center of the mall, but thankfully that wasn't carried out. Heading into the 2000s, the former mall would continue to focus on retail and office space. But as time went on and more retailers left the former mall, things would begin to shift more towards office space. Today, the Eastgate Mall mostly comprises of corporate businesses and offices, but it's still an awesome place to walk around and wonder what it was like when this place had hundreds of shoppers roaming its corridors. So I initially had passed by this mall late at night when I was traveling to my hotel, and all the lights in the skylight were lit up, and I was just amazed. I was hoping to get a chance to come back here and visit the mall at night. Unfortunately, at this time of the year, it doesn't get dark until after the mall's closed. So maybe in a future trip to Chattanooga, I'll be able to accomplish this goal. I wanted to give a big shout out to everyone who supports me here on YouTube as well as over on Patreon. Without your support, these videos wouldn't be possible, so thank you. Well, that's going to do it here from the Eastgate Town Center or Eastgate Mall. If you like this kind of content, there's more over on my channel memberships here on YouTube as well as over on Patreon. It's the best way that you can support this channel to ensure that the future of video is preserved. So please check out the links on screen and in the description box below, and I hope to see you as a part of the Tilt Squad and in the next video.